The image is burned into our minds, a city frozen in time by a single fiery blast. But what if the story of total annihilation is a myth? Today, we're uncovering the hidden science of survival and a city that wasn't quite so lost. Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Today we're doing something a bit different, a kind of historical and scientific autopsy.
Yeah, we're looking at the final 24 hours of Pompeii.
Right. And our mission, really, is to get past that popular image, the perfectly frozen city. We want to understand the actual science, the brutal details of how it was destroyed and paradoxically preserved.
And to do that, you really have to understand Pompeii in 79 AD. It was vibrant, definitely multicultural. But the key thing, it was a city still recovering.
From the earthquake.
Exactly. The big one in 62 AD, 17 years before. It caused huge damage, and honestly, repairs were still happening all over the place when Vesuvius erupted.
And that history, that constant seismic activity, it sort of created this fatal flaw, didn't it? The environment itself hid the danger.
It really did. It normalized the threat. So when those first tremors started before the main eruption, the actual warning signs, people they misinterpreted them.
I thought it was just another Tuesday in Campania.
Pretty much. It wasn't seen as, get out now danger.
Yeah.
It was familiar, routine almost. And that normalization, that blindness, it cost thousands of people the crucial hours they needed to escape.
It's chilling. We see the ruins now, the fancy houses, the forum, and assume it was all just wealth and good times. But there's a darker economic reality underneath all that vibrancy.
Oh, absolutely. A very dark foundation. We're talking systemic, brutal exploitation of enslaved labor.
And that was the engine.
Seems to be the main one. Some quantitative modeling suggests it was the single biggest source of income for the city's elite masters. We're talking maybe 6 million sesterces a year.
6 million, that's astronomical for the ancient world.
It truly is. It tells you that the city's success, its visible prosperity, was built directly on the backs of thousands of enslaved individuals. That context is crucial.
It changes how you see everything. Okay, let's pivot to the eruption itself. Now, for ages, we all learned August 24th, summer disaster. But that's changed, right?
Massively. Modern scholarship has really shifted the timing. We started listening more closely to the artifacts themselves.
Like what? What tells you it wasn't August?
Oh, you find things like autumnal fruits, pomegranates, walnuts. The clothing victims were wearing, it seems heavier, more suited for cooler weather. And the clincher really was a charcoal inscription found relatively recently.
An inscription?
No, graffiti, basically. Dated. It mentions what corresponds to October 17th. So now most scholars lean heavily towards an autumn date. Probably October 24th, maybe the 25th.
Fascinating. Okay, so it's autumn. And it's not one big kaboom. You've described it as a kind of horrifying two-act play over 24 hours. Act 1.
Act 1 kicks off around 1:00 p.m. on day 1. That's the Plinian phase. This massive column of ash and gas shoots skyward, maybe 33 kilometers high.
33 kilometers.
Into the stratosphere. And crucially, the wind was blowing southeast that day, right over Pompeii.
So Pompeii got the direct fallout.
Exactly. White pumice stone starts raining down.
Yeah.
And fast, like 10 to 15 centimeters piling up every hour.
That's a lot of weight. Quickly.
Unbelievably quick.
Yes.
So the first wave of casualties wasn't from heat or gas. It was from buildings collapsing. Roofs, walls, just giving way under the sheer weight of this pumice fall.
Grim.
If you're finding this deep dive valuable, take a moment to subscribe to make it make sense. New topics are broken down every week.
Okay, then Act 2 hits the next morning.
Right around 7:30 a.m. on day 2. This is when the eruption column, unstable now, collapses.
Yeah.
And that generates the really deadly stuff. The pyroclastic density currents, PDCs, these ground-hugging avalanches of hot gas and ash.
And this is where the science gets really specific about who died how, particularly comparing Pompeii and Herculaneum.
That distinction is critical. The first PDCs actually hit Herculaneum, which was closer to the volcano. They were incredibly hot, estimated around 500 degrees Celsius.
500 C, instantaneous.
The instant thermal shock.
Yeah.
Vaporization, basically. Horrific, but very quick end. But the later surges, the ones that reached Pompeii, they had traveled further, mixed with more air, they'd cooled down.
Cooled down to what, roughly?
Still deadly hot, but significantly cooler, maybe in the range of 180 to 220 degrees Celsius.
Okay, so not hot enough for instant vaporization like Herculaneum. So for the Pompeii victims, the ones we see in the casts, what was the actual kill mechanism?
The primary cause of death seems to have been asphyxiation. They inhaled this thick, super hot cloud, dense with fine ash particles.
Breathing in hot ash.
Exactly. And the surge wasn't just a quick blast. It seems to have lasted for maybe 15, even 20 minutes in some areas. So people were breathing this stuff in. It coated their lungs, effectively suffocating them. It was a much more drawn-out, agonizing death.
That's horrifying to contemplate. And those famous casts, Fiorelli developed the technique in 1863, right? Pouring plaster into the voids left by the bodies.
Yes, capturing their final moment. And for 150 years, those casts shaped our ideas about who these people were. But now, modern science, especially DNA analysis and CT scans, it's challenging everything.
How so? Give us an example.
Okay, there's a famous cast of an individual found with an ornate bracelet, always interpreted as a wealthy woman, maybe a mother protecting a child found nearby.
I think I know the one you mean.
Well, recent ancient DNA analysis, that individual was male and genetically unrelated to the child found next to him.
Wow. That completely changes the story. A man unrelated to the child.
It threw those easy narratives out the window, doesn't it? It suggests that in those final, terrifying moments, people were just huddling together, strangers, maybe, master and slave, perhaps, just seeking shelter, connection, regardless of relationship.
It forces you to look at them not as archetypes, but as real, desperate people. What else is DNA telling us?
It's confirming just how cosmopolitan Pompeii was. The genetic data shows clear evidence of recent immigrants, people with ancestry tracing back to the Eastern Mediterranean. It really was a melting pot.
So, backing up a bit, we have this image of Pompeii being totally wiped out, everyone dying. But that's another myth, isn't it? What was the actual survival rate?
It's surprisingly high, actually. Current estimates suggest that maybe as much as 90% of the population might have escaped.
90%, that's huge.
They left early, probably on day one when the Pumice Fall started, but before the PDCs hit. They likely used existing social networks, family ties, business connections, and resettled in nearby cities that weren't affected, like Puteoli, Naples, Cumae.
So the story isn't total annihilation, it's mass displacement and survival for the majority.
Precisely. Which leads to a final thought, something for you to really chew on.
Okay.
The city wasn't truly lost and then rediscovered 1,700 years later. There's growing evidence it was actually reoccupied, at least partially.
Reoccupied after the eruption?
Yes, for possibly centuries. Survivors, scavengers, newcomers living amongst the ruins, salvaging valuables, maybe even farming the enriched soil nearby. So the Pompeii you visit today, it isn't a perfect snapshot frozen in 79 AD. It's a site shaped not just by the eruption, but by generations of post-disaster life and salvage. It wasn't quite so lost after all.
Thanks for joining our deep dive. If this sparked an idea for a future topic, let us know in the comments below. You can continue exploring this subject by watching our next video right here, or subscribe to catch all our future breakdowns. We'll see you in the next one.